Hello, hello. This is Aisha Hollingsworth here with the Progressive Soapbox. I'm sitting in for Jamal. He's at an appointment today, but he wanted to make sure that you guys got the latest update. So this is going to be, as he would say, a blisteringly quick broadcast. He is on the call, so you'll hear him, and I will let him kind of add his 2 cents. But we wanted to do a short stop in and give you guys a breaking news update. If you have not been watching the news, the radio, or any other type of media, for the last couple of hours, Notre-Dame in Paris has been on fire. So we are going to try to give you a little bit of coverage of that. This is going to be amateur hour on the Progressive Soapbox, so bear with me. It's important to him to get things to you as quickly as possible. He asked that I do the broadcast in French, parce que je parle juste un peu de français, but no. I only speak a little bit of French, so I was very uncomfortable with that. But I will say bonjour et bienvenue, and let's get started. So if you guys are just joining us or joining me, thank you. I apologize because I'm not going to do this as well as he does. But I don't know if you could hear him smirking on the call, but Notre-Dame is a cathedral, of course, in Paris. This Catholic treasure is over 800 years old. It's located on a small island in the middle of the River Seine. The building of the cathedral was completed over the course of 200 years. It was started in 1163 during the reign of King Louis VII and was completed in 1345. That's 800 years old. That is older than the United States, if that gives you any gravity whatsoever. And for the last couple of hours, it has been engulfed in flames. The last update headline that I just saw pop up on my screen said, "Nothing will remain from the frame." Every news channel that I can see is covering the story now. The spire is on fire. I don't know if it has collapsed. It has collapsed. The roof has collapsed. We could speculate and wonder, is this associated with the Yellow Vest movement? But that would be complete speculation.
What they're thinking up to this point, at least that I've seen, they're thinking that it might. Well, two things. Let's hope it has nothing to do with that. That's the first point, because from a political standpoint, that would be just a brutal weapon. But there's nothing to point to that. But they're thinking that construction might have had something to do with it. That's the last thing that I've seen that they're investigating. Whether or not the construction has something to do with it, like some mistake had been made or something to that effect. But up to this point, they have no idea what's causing it. At this point, they're trying to stop it. I've been sitting here for the past maybe 3 hours watching it just burn. Like, for the longest time, there was nothing that was taking place. There were eventually people started fire hoses and whatnot, but it seems compared to what was taking place, like nothing was happening. It was just burning. And up to this point, this fire had been lit up for hours, and finally, it eventually collapsed in. So this is where we are on that.
Yeah, it's rough to watch. I don't know if you guys know, but in 2016, Jamal and I went to Paris. I'd pull up our pictures from the Notre-Dame, but I don't want to get sentimental. But it's beautiful. And I know that previously it had to be, sorry, I'm trying to read the captions at the same time. It kind of had to be rebuilt. But it looks like, they just said that nothing is left of the frame.
The sad part is, this is a political channel, so even though it's giving news, I often think of the politics of this kind of opportunism. Those are the things that kind of freak me out, especially when I see stuff like this. You have a fledgling president, Macron, who's been under constant stress for the past, ever since he's been elected, and they've been pushing back on the things that he's been trying to do, and that having this kind of pitched battle, political battle, in France between workers and labor versus what you can call the neoliberal bunch with established order of things. And now a country that's for the most part have been in flames for the past the year, 2 years, is now literally in flames.
And unfortunately, because of that, and I guess just the state of the world now, when Jamal called me and said, Paris is on fire, the first thing that I thought was an attack or something associated with the Yellow Vest movement. Like, what happened? Who did it? And I mean, of course, right now, it's way too early to tell. I mean, people are speculating.
And by the way, just so we're clear, and by Yellow Vest, I don't mean, they're factions that try to take things to levels that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? And, there are aspects of it. The movement itself is completely peaceful for the most part. They're just factions. There's always factions of things. But within those factions of things, even within the United States, you had elements of government like pushing rogue elements within groups in order to kind of make them more extreme than what those groups would typically be. But again, I don't necessarily associate it with it per se. It just, I get cynical, and sometimes I look at the stuff from the lens of what has taken place prior to the U.S. The way the CIA operates and so forth. But no, in this case, it looks more like construction, if anything else. I would say the first hypothesis has to be construction, since there was construction that was taking place, and you could easily foresee something happening with some kind of construction situation where it may catch on fire.
Right, and I do see, I know this image looks a little weird. It's a picture within a picture within a picture, but somebody donated through Streamlabs, and I'm trying to get their comment, but I can't find that window, so I apologize. But Pat Hacker in the comments said that she understands that this is due to renovations. I don't think, have you heard that, Jamal?
Well, I've seen people speculate it. I mean, they don't know. The last thing I've seen is that people were saying that there were renovations that were taking place, and they were reporting or they were investigating whether or not it had something to do with renovations.
Yeah.
That's the last report that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I think I told you, let's hope that this was a mistake, and let's hope that this was to something like renovations.
Yeah,
it would be like literally the best case scenario.
Yeah. So, I was reading the comments, and someone said it's a fucking shame. It is a fucking shame. They were talking about how they like, old historical religious buildings. I know after a certain time, after he and I went to Paris and Venice in the same trip, we walked in the cathedral, and now I feel a little bit bad, but I remember us saying, if you've seen one cathedral, haven't you seen them all? It is kind of repetitive.
And not so much.
But Notre-Dame is Notre-Dame.
Well, it's hard to get across, like, how old that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and your kids, or you could say your great grandparents, like, it was there going that, you know what I mean? Like, that's profound.
Yeah.
The age.
It was built between...
That stuff has gone into, being essentially annihilated.
Yeah.
All at once.
12th century. So, if it wasn't due to renovations, they're going to be having some renovations now. So...
Well, that's assuming that they can rebuild
If they can, yeah.
I mean...
Hopefully it's salvageable.
They can rebuild it.
I mean, it's rough to look at. It's kind of rough to look at. I mean, like, as we're looking at it now, the image that you guys see behind me, there's nothing left. I mean, I can see a frame.
When this first started, I was sitting here watching what looked like just kind of, it was just smoke. It was like smoke, and it was just flames. You could see flames kind of in the distance, but it was smoke, and it looked bad. And then as you watched it, I've been sitting here watching for hours, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And the news people are like, "Oh my God! I mean, it's getting worse. Where are the firemen?" This thing of, oh, there they are. Now they're here, but it had been going on for hours.
So you're saying that the blaze had been actually going on for a while before?
They had been watching this for 2 hours at least.
Before the firefighters got on the scene?
Yeah. They had, because before the firefighters got on the scene, they started videotaping with like cameras, cell phones. People started to notice, and as people started to notice, got out on social media. The media got it from the standpoint of social media, so they started reviewing it from social media. And then at that point, when people started paying more attention to it, that's when more cameras, more attention. All of the televisions here, or on different channels, all of those started becoming news, like where the news were intervening into it. At that point, it was bananas. I mean, that's essentially where we are now. But yeah, kind of like, how do you? It's like Paris without the Notre-Dame.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing? Like, you could see the
Eiffel Tower. That's where it fell. Yeah, maybe.
Right.
But
Like Paris without the Eiffel Tower. How do you, the America without the White House? It's bizarre.
Now, just to be clear, so what they're showing now, if you guys can see, this here is the front portion. So kind of like the tower portion of Notre Dame, and the actual cathedral behind it, the main part of Notre Dame, is what's on fire. So it looks like kind of like the inside of the Notre Dame, or what was the inside of Notre Dame. The entire cathedral is burning.
And just so we're clear, because I don't want there to be my speculation or my asking the question is not necessarily indicative of what's taking place. Like, if that makes sense. So it's me looking at the politics surrounding this fire, if there are indeed any politics at all around this fire.
Right.
I mean, but to be clear, at this point, what they're thinking is, at least going by what they said, they're investigating whether or not it could be attributable to the construction that was taking place at Notre Dame.
Right, those renovations that Pat talked about.
Yeah, but again, they don't know. So at this point, they're speculating.
All right.
Where we are.
I was able to get to the Streamlabs, so I'm going to read the Streamlabs out loud. Thank you first of all, for staying. Once you saw my face and not Jamal's, I appreciate you not leaving. But Kills for a Living says, ain't gonna lie, my mind was blown a little after I saw Miss Thomas after the intro, and the yellow vest will be blamed for this. This is Kills for a Living.
So I'm not the only cynical person.
Mm-mm.
But we'll see. I mean, I look at when some of the stuff like the Gulf was honking, or even hell, the election of Donald Trump, where there's something that took place, some catastrophic thing that took place, and then instead of dealing with the reality of the quote unquote catastrophic thing that took place, what they do, they blame lefties. Oh, all of this information that's out, and those lefties didn't get behind, that Bernie Sanders is the problem, and those Russians are the problem, and you know what I mean? It's like, oftentimes, it's my cynicism in this stuff is not bought out of just floating in space. It is attributable to things that are taking place. The Syrian regime, in this case, or the Syrian government, there's a chemical weapons strike that takes place, and it's very clear. New York Times does articles years prior saying that opposition leaders have their hands on chemical weapons. But no, the first thought is the Syrian government. And then you find out that in this case, it wasn't even a chemical weapons strike that took place at all. They were just using social media in order to create the pretext of one, or this image of one. So, my cynicism is there, but hopefully what this looks at it says, it is indeed just a construction fire and a construction mistake.
Yeah. All right,
and I know that sounds really bizarre that you hope that it's just that, but that's where we are.
Yeah. All right. So hold on really quickly. Winnie the Shrew said that it's his understanding that the plans are still, that they do still have the plan so they can rebuild it. I mean, that's...
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Also, thank you. There's a super chat here from Beatrice Pierre. Says, hey, Mrs. Thomas, loving the Bantu, not son. Thank you. We got a lot of love for those on yesterday's show, too, for patron appreciation. Wait, hold on.
French President Emmanuel Macron, at the scene of Notre-Dame fire, heads into meeting with police.
All right, hold on. I'm getting a little bit of bacon.
There we are.
All right.
Heads into meeting with police.
He interrupts me when he's not even here. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry.
All right, hold on, because it looks like I'm getting a little bit of a lag, but I wanted... there was one more Streamlabs. Someone named Russia Madow says, tonight on Russia Madow. Tonight on... No, it's from Russia Madow.
Those names are made up.
I know. The comment is, tonight on Russia Madow, can the Notre Dame fire be linked to Donald Trump and the Kremlin? Our CIA source says yes.
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Hopefully that's not what's on the news tonight.
All right. Well, the Paris mayor, we will draw strength to rise. Now, here's the thing. Paris has been racked with all sorts of political chaos.
Yeah.
And what is the value of this from Macron's standpoint? Like, because Macron is essentially going to do what every other person in politics does when there's a massive thing. He's going to say, hey, we need to come together. We need to work together. You know, we need to draw strength from this. He's just said we draw strength from rise, et cetera, et cetera. But does it make people hate Macron any less? Or does it make them shut up for a month or two in the midst of this?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, not saying, just because something is used doesn't necessarily mean it was caused. That's the first point. And I guarantee you that the fact that this is there means it's something that will be used for political effect. So, the politics of opportunism are not necessarily gross, but they are politics nonetheless, and these guys are politicians, and they're going to use them to whatever ends. Not saying that he wanted this to take place,
but since it has now, how can I capitalize off of this?
Right. Since it happened, I mean, I'm not saying I caused them to drop that $20 bill, but that $20 bill has been dropped. I mean, hey. But I'm not going to keep this. I just wanted to give people a heads up on what was taking place.
I'm not going to keep this. This is my video.
Fair enough. All right. I'll hang up from here. Or you can close it up and we can talk after.
I'm closing it out. I mean,
for showing up, but I definitely wanted you guys to give a heads up on what was taking place. This is going to be known for decades. I mean, you have a building. Like, it's an odd thing, right? From a probability standpoint. If somebody says, over the course of 1,000 years, hell, over the course of 10,000 years, will this building catch fire? And then somebody will say, well, probably, yeah. There could be all sorts of factors that come into play that may cause the building to catch fire. But if somebody says, well, it happened on this day, you know what I mean? It becomes weirder and more bizarre. The fact that it happens, especially in the context that this thing had been there for 800 years. So this will be known for a very long time. I just wanted the audience to be aware of it.
Yeah, we are. All right, I'm getting a really bad lag on my end, like so bad. It's difficult for me to capture images on my screen. So we are definitely going to finish it up here. Yeah, we'll finish it up here.
Thanks, everybody. You all have a good one.
All right, so that's it for me. I'm out. Just wanted to stop by again and give you guys this update. We're following this on CBS News Live. BBC is also covering it, but like we said before, this is pretty much being streamed on every news outlet that I've seen. So I am going to end this here. The next face that you see will be your normal host, Jamarl Thomas, here on the Progressive Soapbox. And I think I know how to cut this off. Wouldn't that be hilarious if I didn't know how to stop the stream and I just had to get up and leave it until he got back home? But hopefully that's... Yeah. I had to crawl underneath the table to get out so that nobody could see me. But yeah, a sad day in Paris. You guys, should I say send thoughts and prayers to the Parisians? But yes, hopefully they can salvage something. And if not, hopefully they do have the plans and it is rebuildable. But yeah, a sad day in Paris. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. And yeah. Nope. It's stopping, but it is I think it stopped. Let me double check before I do anything crazy on the screen. I don't know if our internet is dropping or what, but I have no feedback whatsoever. So I don't know if the stream stopped or not. Before I make an ass of myself, I can't see anything. to click on. I don't know if it's the video from Paris that's holding me up or what. But something has got this computer completely bogged down. So let me close this out. What's that? So I'm looking at the screen. It's not that I don't know how to do it. It's that nothing is working on the screen. Like, it's all frozen. Yes, someone said that I inherited Jamal's problem. Usually I'm not that bad, but this is not my arena, so I'm a little nervous. So I'm probably dropping a lot of so bear with me. Can I just like power off the whole computer? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, we're frozen. All right, we're up and running. Thanks for watching.